First episode of the Bunk Podcast. I'm Alex.
I am Bryn.
This is the Greek hoe and
the Mexican bitch. And thank you for joining us today on our first ever episode of the Bunk Podcast.
Yeah.
Lovely to have you here, whether you're listening on Facebook, YouTube,
Spotify, Apple.
your nan's radio in her front lawn, wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in.
Whatever's popping.
And thank you for listening to us. So this is the first podcast of hopefully many.
Yes.
With no real direction, truth be told. No real direction, just whatever is relevant.
We've got this idea. We'd like to we'd like to share, and that's about we're thinking of chatting about the whole George Floyd situation.
Yes.
And see what's happening with that.
It's obviously something that's very, very relevant in the media at the minute because
Very fucking relevant.
yeah, because I mean it's you can't really avoid it, and obviously it's sad that we've had to get to the point where we have for it to become relevant and for it to get 100%. The attention that it needs. But obviously it is something that is very rife today, and there's lots of different things that you can say about the situation. Obviously, the point blank black and white thing of racism is bad.
Yeah, doesn't need to happen.
No need for it. I mean, we are lucky to live in the country in which we do because it is not as rife, at least to our knowledge.
Yeah,
it could be.
I mean, like, I'm sure there's a lot of like white privilege still going on.
100%
in
100%
like UK, but I don't think it's as prevalent or as bad.
No, not
as
at all.
The US.
Not at all.
Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys over there have got it real bad.
Yeah, or at least to our knowledge. I mean, it's something that I've seen multiple things on Twitter during the last couple of weeks of kind of what do you classify them as? Kind of racial attacks, almost, if you would.
you can put it that way, yeah.
I've seen multiple things on Twitter of like young black men getting hung and stuff like this.
Shit.
Yeah, and because the media doesn't cover it, it doesn't get the attention. Exactly.
Right.
Which then obviously leads you to think, if stuff like this is going on in the UK,
we wouldn't know about
exactly.
it.
We wouldn't know because it doesn't get the coverage
that it should.
Exactly, 100%. But it's one thing about the situation that's really been bugging me personally is, don't get me wrong, I myself am not massively educated on the topic. I'm not.
No, neither am I. To be honest, 100%.
And a good majority of the people are not.
And they haven't experienced it.
Exactly. I mean, you obviously, speaking myself as a white male in today's society, I've never experienced anything like that. Obviously, you, with your kind of Greekish background, I'm sure you've had maybe at some points a little bit of...
Oh yeah, just for clarification, Bryn isn't actually Mexican.
I wish I was. I'm just very well tanned.
Yeah, we should put that out there.
My dad is half Welsh, so if anything, I'm a little bit more white than the rest of you.
But yeah, no, I am Greek, and yeah, to be fair, like, it's not been... I don't think it's as bad as it could have been, but it's definitely, like... been there. There's been
I bet
like,
I'm
small
not surprised.
jokes and like small little digs, and it's like it's funny, but
I mean again it all comes down to the education of it, because again I myself have quite kind of foolishly, if you would, haven't taken the time to educate myself on it. I've purely gone off of what I've seen in the media, on social media, mainly social media, because obviously
that's the world we live in. No one reads newspapers.
Exactly, 100%. And
therefore wiping your ass.
And I mean, yeah, exactly. And if the main nitty gritty stuff isn't getting reported in the mainstream media, you then have to educate yourself on stuff like Twitter, Facebook to an extent, Instagram, stuff like that.
Karens of Facebook,
exactly.
Just sat there waiting to keyboard warrior.
Yeah, they're sat there, so we keep away from that as much as possible. But one thing that's really been bugging me personally, and obviously, you can look back and say that, obviously, there's no such thing as bad publicity, which I myself agree with 100%.
Yeah, no.
If there's attention on it,
then it's getting
exactly,
it's
gaining traction, it's getting attention, 100%. It's good. But one thing that's kind of been bugging me, and it's going to sound a little bit hypocritical because, like I said, I myself am not massively educated on the topic, is people going along to these protests and stuff like that, mainly... in the UK, where obviously the problem isn't as rife, but it's, I'm sure it is still there.
100%.
The one thing that's kind of been bugging me personally is people going along to these riots or these protests, because I don't know, have we had riots in the UK?
I think we have up in like place like Manchester, where like
You expect it.
You kind of think it would happen.
Again, anyway, down south, us privileged white boys in Hampshire, we haven't experienced any riots, God forbid. But people going along to these riots, and they're kind of just doing it for clout.
Yeah,
like they're going along to these riots with their signs, with their mates, and instead of actually...
So you mean like, let's say, going over, taking a few Instagram pictures
100%. 100%. Instead of actually, taking time to listen to, because they've obviously had speakers and stuff there, especially in the US. I'm sure they've had it in the UK as well.
A lot of them.
Instead of actually listening to the people that have come to speak on either their experiences or their views or, stuff like their ancestors' experiences, because obviously back in the day, the British were quite bad at.
You guys are horrible.
Stuff. Yeah,
I thought Alexander the Great was bad. Like shit.
Yeah, we were quite bad with stuff like that. But obviously, instead of listening to stuff like that, they turn up with their signs, with their masks, take a few pictures for Instagram, plaster it all over their social media,
and then do one.
And then instead of actually staying and being there for the cause.
Yeah.
Which again, no publicity is bad publicity. I haven't been to one of these things.
Yeah.
So in theory, they're doing more for the cause than I am.
Yeah.
But the reason I would have loved to have gone to one because I reckon it would have been really interesting.
It would, 100%. I think, personally, I haven't been to any of them because most of the days they've been on, I've been at work and I'm sat there like shit. Yeah. And then there's also the whole coronavirus aspect of it.
100%. That's because that is still very, very rife, and I think some
still
people,
here. Still chilling
about.
around.
And obviously, in the US, they don't take it as seriously.
I mean, there's been people out with signs saying coronavirus is like a fake thing. I'm sat there
it's not.
You're wearing masks.
It's not. It's not. Obviously, there's a big topic of that because obviously there aren't that many cases in Hampshire, but your chances of getting it if you go to one of these things is dramatically increased.
Yeah.
But the main reason I haven't been to one is because I don't feel like I'm educated enough to go to one and fully appreciate and understand why they're doing it and why it is what it is. Obviously, you look at it and you see, black man got killed very, very brutally in the streets of America because he handed over a fake check or a fake note or whatever it was.
Something like that.
Obviously, that is bad. My moral compass can my moral compass can figure that out. But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm educated enough on all the past happenings and stuff to comfortably go along to one and say, right, I 100% know the cause. I 100% know what I'm fighting for. Don't get me wrong, I've signed petitions and stuff online.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's the least someone
can
probably
I don't feel like... And obviously going to one of these things would probably educate me more. But it's one of those things where it's a cause that obviously I 100% believe in because racism is bad, and in today's modern society it should not still be a problem. You go back to the slavery days and stuff like that. Okay, it was an issue, but in today's day and age, where it shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
And obviously, I've seen certain members of the Facebook police chucking it round, saying, "Oh yeah, why are we paying all these attention to black lives? All lives matter, all this and all that." And it's like, yeah, they do. So why are we discriminating against these people? They all matter, but these people are at a distinct disadvantage.
It's like that house on fire thing
100%. That's 100%, and that is. At first, I didn't really understand it.
No, I didn't.
I looked at it again, and it made sense.
Yeah.
This house is on fire. It needs water. Oh, but what if I water my house? Then my house can't catch on fire. Yeah, but your house isn't on fire at the minute. This house is on fire.
This guy's dog is about to die.
Literally, it is.
What about my dog?
Literally, it's bad, and it's something that is gonna keep being an issue until it stops being an issue, and that can be done through people educating themselves. And it's like, I saw this thing on Facebook, and it was, someone said, "Oh yeah, like it's good that you're taking a stand, but there doesn't need to be all these riots, and there doesn't need to be all this looting and stuff like that." And I 100% agree. Like. Small businesses, if you're a small business and your shop gets looted,
screwed.
Yeah, you're done.
Fully screwed.
You're done for.
Yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, I also saw this quote. I'm not gonna pretend like
You're not gonna quote it.
I'm not gonna quote it because I can't remember who said it or the exact words, and I don't want to get it wrong on such a sensitive subject. But it was something along the lines of a protest that is allowed and is accepted is just a parade.
Right, fair.
And you sit there and you think about it and you go, yeah, it is. If you run it past your local senator or whoever's in charge of stuff like this in the US and go, right, we're going to have a little march for, Black Lives and something like that, they go, yeah, it's fine. At that point, it is just a parade. Yeah. If you're doing it off of the back of someone else's approval, you're not really taking a stand.
No.
So as much as, yes, it probably harms small businesses and stuff like that, and obviously half the looting and violence and stuff is people getting paid by the US government to go make them look bad.
It's also like, I also saw that, like when you look at the demographic of these riots, there's like a massive split of them being white or Caucasian or basically not African American.
100%.
And there's like only 20% of them being African American. It's like, yeah, these Black Lives Matters protests are turning into riots, and it's like, no,
they're not.
You've got some, like, I don't want to be political, but some right-wing twats going around smashing stuff up.
And I mean, that is something that obviously was very, very... Once it broke, you looked at it and you went, whoa, hold on now, guys.
Yeah, like, hold up.
This obviously the government kind of paying people to go and break some shit.
Yeah, I don't know if it's government like led, but I definitely think that there's
100%. There's an aspect of that in there because they obviously they want people to turn around and go, oh, look what they're doing. They're smashing stuff up. They're just making everything worse.
Put them under a negative light.
100%.
Basically, yeah.
And another thing is, obviously, the White House. There's now a massive fence around it, and they've turned off all the lights. And that's the first time the White House has gone dark in
a while.
A long time. A long time.
But I mean, we are talking about the same guy that wants to build a massive ass.
Yeah,
that's built a massive ass wall.
All I'm saying is, you never would have seen this under Obama.
100%.
Bring him back.
No, fully. No.
Bring him back.
I think that's the thing that I really like. Going off on a little bit of a tangent here, I don't understand that with you guys in the US. Like, they can only have 2 terms, and after that they're out. You have someone like Obama who does such a damn good job.
He dragged that country back from the dust.
Yeah, from what Bush left it at, he pulled it back. And there's going to be a lot of people that are thinking, you know what, Obama wasn't the best. And I'm like, no.
But no
one's better than Trump.
No one's going to be perfect in a situation like that.
Fully.
You see what he did for the healthcare. You see what he did for poverty and children who don't have education and don't have a home and don't have food on the table. And you look at it and you go, that's a leader.
Yeah,
right. That is a leader.
That's what
Donald Trump
should be about.
He's a boss. Yeah, he's a businessman. He's running the country like a business.
I think that's where different presidents come in different strengths. So as we just said, Obama was more of not a philanthropist, but he was there for the people. And then what's his face?
Trump.
Trump. Dorito, whatever you want to call him. He's more of the economical side 100%. Of the country.
Don't get me wrong.
But then fuck
everything. The country economically, again, I don't know the figures. It's probably in a better place now than it ever was under Obama. But you look at the country,
and it's shambles.
Fucked, right? And I saw this thing on Twitter the other day, and it was when the presidents first got sworn into office. They take a picture with all of their staff.
Okay, right.
If you would, everyone that's in the White House, their advisors.
I bet they were miserable.
Ministry of Defensive, whatever, all their different positions that they have. There's about 18 different people around the country. Anyway, there's this picture with about 60 people. Donald Trump. No, sorry. We'll start with Obama. Obama. There's mixes. There's black people, white people, Caucasian people. Donald Trump, white,
whatever he is,
white. Just there's not a single face in that picture that is not white, and you sit there and you think there's this problem, and there's a problem because it starts at the top.
Yeah.
If your entire
you definitely wouldn't be in that.
No, not at all. If there's an entire group of people pretty much in charge of running the country, and not a single one of them has any kind of ethnic diversity,
you're screwed
from the beginning.
You're screwed
from the start.
Fully.
Day one.
100%.
There's always going to be divides.
I don't. Okay, so going back to where this came from. So I heard a story about the whole Floyd situation, right? Yeah. And apparently there's 2 stories of where this came from. Now, one of them is that obviously he gave a $20 counterfeit bill. he wasn't one of them was that he wasn't resisting arrest. The one of them was that he was getting on the floor because he was having a heart attack.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Now that's one kind of
avenue
you could take. Yeah. The other one that someone told me the other day, apparently they did a little bit of research on it, is that he was resisting arrest and that he was being drunk and disorderly. Now,
he was now outside of a car.
He's now, yeah, exactly. So where does police draw the line between
the two?
Drunk and disorderly, and I'm going to kill you by crushing your windpipe.
I mean, it's so rife over the entire US, and I saw a video again on Twitter. Don't believe everything you see on the internet, but it was this video on Twitter of a Mexican gentleman,
Hispanic
gentleman,
origin, yeah,
who's in his car. He gets pulled over by the police. Yeah. They turn around and say, they pull him over, and he's obviously got a dash cam, and he points it towards himself. And they pull them over and they say, right...
for safety.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, just to let you know, the tint on your windows is too dark. It's not within the...
range.
Allowance, whatever, blah, 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 blah. You're going to need to get that fixed. Can we see your documents? He goes, yeah, of course. And then he turns to them and he says, by the way, just to let you know, I have a registered firearm in the boot of my car, completely registered to my name. It's in the boot. Go and open the boot now if you want. It's in there. So one of them walks around the back of the car, opens the boot, and you hear him say, yep, there's a firearm in here. Okay, wonderful. They say, do you have any other firearms in the car? He says, no. Okay. He has his hands on the steering wheel the entire time.
Okay.
And then they turn around and say, can we see your documents? He says, yeah, of course. He goes to reach over to the glove box. There's a gun pulled on him.
Oh, dear.
And he's like, whoa. You've told me...
with a wife in the car?
No, okay. He's like, whoa. You've asked me to reach in and get my documents. How do we know you're not reaching for another firearm? He said, okay, why doesn't one of you come round, sit in the passenger seat, and get my documents for me? We can't do that, we're not allowed to do that. And obviously he's got a gun pointed
at the guy's face.
Inches from his skull the entire time. And you sit there and go, right, there's two sides to this. Obviously, as a police officer, yeah, how do you know he's not reaching for another firearm?
Yeah, fully.
There's always that bit of doubt in your mind. Yeah. There's got to be.
You're still only human.
Yeah, you've got to be on edge in that situation.
Yeah.
On the other hand, he's told you there's a firearm in the boot. There's a firearm in the boot. You've asked him to reach for his documents. He's reaching for his documents. You don't. I've never met anyone who keeps documents to their car just in the seat next to them at all times.
Or like a little space that you got between them.
Exactly. But it's...
my God.
And you see the guy sat there like he's... understandably, he's shitting himself.
Yeah, no
because he's got a firearm pointed to his gun, and this person who could have only been in the police force one day has the ability to end his life there and then.
I think, like, in that situation, what should happen is you should say, okay, you know what? Yeah, fine. You go to the other... So I'm presuming there was two officers, right?
Yes.
Okay, so one of them goes on each side, and that's how they proceed the situation. You don't pull out a gun until until he makes a sudden move which would indicate harmful intent.
100%. By all means, have your hand on your weapon. Be ready.
Fine.
Don't point it at the man if he's just doing what you've told him to do. And you sit there and you think,
what the fuck?
No, you sit there. There's two sides to it. If the man in that driver's seat was white, would that happen?
I think
not to the extent that it did.
Fully, yeah. Not to that extent.
So again, the officer may have had a hand on their weapon or something like that, but I reckon they would have been a hell of a lot more lenient with it. Would they have even asked to see the documents? I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
I mean, I know it's protocol for Americans to... I don't know why. Like, in the UK, obviously, we've... Like, our police cars, for anyone who's not in the UK, our police cars have got cameras in them, which, as soon as they see a number plate, it flashes up on their screen. Any past offences, taxed, untaxed, insurance, not insurance. Yeah, it's got the name of the driver under the insurance.
Address.
Yeah, so the only thing that they need to check is your driving licence, and sometimes it's not even that.
Yeah, sometimes they don't even do that. I've been asked for my licence once.
And that's purely just to make sure that you are who you say. Yeah. So like for example, the insurance doesn't have a picture of my face, so I could be driving my dad's car. And if I get pulled over, the police show us your
license, ID, anything.
Yeah. And then they just run it through their system, and that's that.
Exactly.
I don't see why in America you have to have proof of ownership. You've got to have insurance documents. You've got to have right of registration or something like that.
Yeah.
And then your driving license.
And,
like, really?
they've got to be on you at all times.
Yeah. I'm like, fuck.
Like
seriously.
It would be so easy to integrate a system like we have over here.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And that'd save time, it'd save money, it'd save people's fucking lives.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, I think that stuff like that are just taken a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, like, systematic injustice and all that kind of stuff is like 100% still there. Like, I'm pretty sure if I was to bet my life on it, I would pretty much say that America's still got the most right-wing
100%
people
yes.
in the world.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a difficult topic because you think, okay, so for these officers who, obviously, with the George Floyd case, the 3 who were there are getting sentenced for something, and the guy who did it is getting sentenced for second-degree murder. Yeah. But obviously, there's all these past offences and stuff like that when nothing's happened.
I know. Yeah, that's what I was actually talking about the other day with someone, and it's just like apparently the guy had 8. If anyone correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently they had 8 previous complaints towards him for racial 100%. Discrimination.
And at that point, you've got and it's. I remember seeing this thing again. It was something like this officer killed an innocent black man.
Yeah. And
was like very physically abusive towards many others. Got fired from his state's police force.
But then went to another one.
Yeah, moved to another state and just rejoined their police force and said, I got all this previous experience. And instead of looking into the man and seeing what he'd done, they just went, you've got your
DBS checks, man.
Literally, you've got your badge from the whatever state police department. Yeah, jump on board, man.
Jeez.
And it's like,
why?
These simple little checks. It's laziness, and you could be costing someone else their life.
Not even just one. Like, let's say the way that I've seen it is that if there's one officer and there's one citizen, and that officer there's as I said, there's only one officer, one citizen, no witnesses whatsoever.
Yeah.
The officer can very much instantly just say, he
100%.
He acted in a really threatening manner,
100%.
so I had to self-defend, and that will be because it's his word versus a dead man's.
Exactly.
Realistically.
Exactly.
Nothing will happen. There'll be no consequences. So, right.
One way that I've seen,
Jesus.
Again, someone was spouting it on Twitter, and I sat there and looked at it, and I was like, to be fair, that could work.
Okay.
You give every single officer some kind of chest cam.
Which cannot be turned off.
You turn it off, immediate dismissal.
Yep.
You're sacked. You're done.
Yeah.
Removal of the vest. Gone.
Yep.
Because it's obviously you can turn around and say, but what if he's just sat, in his car and it's really hot and he takes the vest off?
No, what is he doing? Watching fucking Pornhub?
Literally. What are you doing that you don't want someone to see?
Even if someone's eating, it's not a big deal.
Literally.
That's fine. If a little bit of mayo falls on the camera, you can just wipe it off. It's not a biggie.
It's little things again, you look at that and you go, how much money is it going to cost to equip every police officer with a camera on their vest?
But then it's also going to save lives.
Exactly. At that point, you're then looking at the debate of how much is someone's life worth. It costs $400 every officer that is equipped with one of these.
It probably wouldn't even
even cost that, but for the sake of argument, let's call it $400.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is someone's life worth $400? No. You can't put a price on someone's life.
Unless you're life insurance.
Exactly, but apart from that, outside of that, it's...
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's just let's say it's the same price as a dash cam.
Literally.
Right.
Dash cam absolute max $100.
Yeah, the most that I've ever seen a dash cam is 200 quid.
Literally.
So, to the US people, we call our pounds quid. So £200.
200 Great British currencies.
Yeah, Great British currencies. So £200 per police officer. Yeah, sure, that will cost you a lot of money. But then think about if let's say a police officer gives the vest back and they find that this guy has gone over and not just racially abused, but has pretty much harassed someone on the fact they use a $20 counterfeit bill.
Exactly.
And then you reevaluate the situation, like, okay, this guy's dangerous. Like, he should not have a badge. He should not have a weapon. Sack him.
But I can't see Trump doing that. I can't see anyone doing Obama, he would put, maybe not exactly that, he would put some kind of measure or law in place.
With this, he would have done a lot more than
100%. And you can look at that and say, yeah, that's because he himself is African American. But it's not. He just had compassion.
Yeah.
And obviously, without trying to turn this into a mass political debate, because again, it's the US, completely different world. I'm convinced there are different species over there. But they've voted for a president that's...
looks like a what's it.
But
to start with.
He's a businessman.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can vote who you're going to vote for. Majority
wins. Is it really? Yeah.
But in theory, anyone. I mean, The Rock is running for president. Don't get me wrong. Dwayne Johnson, I'm sure he's a lovely man. He seems like a lovely man. Is he in any state politically to be running a country? Probably not.
No. He might be.
Yeah, there's every chance.
Don't get me wrong. I really do not think anyone can do any worse than what Trump has done.
Not at all.
I really do not think so.
Maybe. If you came in and properly stirred the pot.
If you were Hitler, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon Adolf would give him
Adolf would give
100%. But the US is such a mediated country.
Yeah.
That, I mean, imagine that's kind of like fucking Alan Sugar going and running England, literally. Isn't it?
Oh my god.
Alan Sugar going and running.
He'd fire everyone.
He would. Donald Trump is their Alan Sugar, and he's found his way into office.
That is so. I've never thought of it like that.
And it's like,
I don't think I want to ever think about it like that again.
It's a mess. Like, what was so Boris Johnson, before he was Prime Minister, he was the Mayor of London.
Yeah.
Before that, what did he do?
I don't even know.
Exactly.
Can we just like fact
have
check
a look?
This a
but he
bit?
probably
Fact
went and did
check
some politics or something at some fancy university because he has experience in the field, right?
Yeah.
Donald Trump, before he was US president, multi-billionaire. He had The Apprentice, US Apprentice.
Yeah. Let's wiki him.
He was on WWE for a bit. He went and did some wrestling.
Who did?
Donald Trump.
What? So the only thing I found him is that he was obviously Mayor of London, British Parliament. That's about it.
Yeah. But the point being, he has experience in the field.
Hold up.
Uh-oh. What you done now,
Johnson
DJ?
secured employment on the leader writing desk of the Daily Telegraph. So he was a reporter before. Not a reporter, but he was a story writer. Yeah, journalist.
Oh, yeah, but fair enough.
That's not as bad.
That's not... He didn't have his head shaved on TV, did he? I mean, he might have done.
He was a political columnist.
There you go. See, experience in the field.
Yeah, okay, so that's...
Donald Trump was on the US Apprentice and did some stuff.
Wow. That's... I think that it's just... Oh god, I'm not going to unsee that now. Donald Trump having his head shaved off.
But the fact...
that's amazing.
The fact of the matter is... Where was his experience in politics? Literally, one day that man woke up and went, yeah, go on, sod it, I'll run for president. And he got there.
Don't know how.
Exactly.
Really don't know how.
Because he was massively racist and everything. And again, the majority of America...
will agree with that.
Exactly, which is the problem. And I mean, unless something changes at the top, it's never going to change at the bottom.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that... As I said, I saw this. I can't remember the guy's name. He's he had a series on Netflix.
Yeah.
And he was, I don't know if he's Jewish or what, but he went to a neo-Nazi household in America.
I've seen this, yeah.
And they were asking him, "Are you Jewish?" And he was not. He was saying, "I might be, I might not be." And they were saying, "If you do not get out of my house right now, I want to know if someone is in my house Jewish or not, because if they are, I will not allow them to be here." I was like, oh my god.
It's bad. And that stuff...
Shit.
I mean, don't get me wrong, that stuff's still probably going on in the UK.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But
fully,
it's not as rife as it is in the US. And we had this... Again, it comes down to education. Half the people that are in these groups probably don't have a clue. They know what they want to know, and they hear what they want to hear. They have one side. Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing that at least... I can say in the UK we're quite good at. We hear both sides of the argument.
Most people do, yeah.
In the US, typically, again, this doesn't go for every American citizen. They're very, very stubborn and very close-minded.
Yeah.
They will adopt a viewpoint and they will stick to it until the cows come home. 100%.
Yeah.
And they don't like change.
I think the thing is, with America, they've got, like, obviously, as you said, as we said at the beginning of the episode, like, Mexicans are, like, the main group that most people who voted for Trump go against.
Because that was his whole thing, yeah.
That was his whole thing. Now, relating that to UK, we obviously don't have a lot of racism in terms of blacks that we're aware of, but we do have a lot against Polish.
Very true.
Right? Like, everyone...
was Brexit a racist thing? No.
No, fully not. No,
I
don't think so.
I mean, obviously there was underlying bits of racism. You had the EDL and bloody Tommy Robinson and everything.
Yeah.
Hey, this is our country, blah, 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 blah. Cool. Sack it off, mate. Take a day off.
Do one.
We mainly did it for the economic advantages. Don't get me wrong. If I was old enough to vote back then, I would have voted to remain, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Right, it's worked for us for however many hundreds of years. It's probably still going to work for us now. But the main reason that we did Brexit was... to have more control over our imports and exports, have more control over our borders, everything like that. And that's understandable, because at a point, the UK had quite a bad immigration problem.
And we also have the NHS,
exactly,
which a lot of people use to come over,
exactly,
get its perks, and then run off.
People come over here, take, to be fair, a shit job that none of us want, but it is a job that needs doing, so you can't really massively doubt them on that. But they come over here for the free healthcare.
Which I don't really blame them, because it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I don't blame them. It's a bloody good system.
Yeah, fully.
But at the same time, that then stretches our NHS, and it's like, again, without trying to sound massively EDL and Brexit means Brexit, you're taking more from the country than you're giving back.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Like, they probably still pay their national insurance.
Yeah, I'm probably still... most people... under the age of like 25 are technically still in that group. Yeah. We take more from the country than we give back. What?
That's because we're not earning a high
exactly.
enough wage.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we still pay our national insurance and stuff like that to, contribute. But again, it's like, you look at it and you say, if on the way home from here I crash my car, ambulance is there,
fire brigade,
exactly, police,
roadblock if needed.
I get all the medical attention I need. And they will do everything to make sure I get better.
And that's for like a 20 quid a month national insurance contribution.
And I will leave that hospital...
satisfied.
Exactly.
And alive.
Mainly alive. But also I won't leave with a massive bill.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I went over there with some family friends. We went to Disney... I say Disneyland. We did do Disneyland. We went to Florida, which basically isn't America. Florida is just Disneyland.
Yeah.
And...
no one cares about the rest of Florida.
It's very true. It's... one of the guy who went, his dad got ill and he went into the hospital and he had to have like an IV drip and stuff like this.
How big?
Luckily, it was covered by the health insurance.
Okay.
23,000.
Oh my god!
I think.
Oh my god!
But you look and he asked for an itemised bill, right?
Wow.
Because obviously at first they just come in and give you like a really shady looking, may I add, slip of paper that just has a number on it. And they're like, yeah, that's your bill. And obviously he then had to refer that to the health insurance people. But he said, can I have an itemised bill, please? And they charge you for everything. They charge you for...
they charge you rent.
Bed. Pretty much. They charge you for... Right, so obviously he had an IV drip going into his arm. Yeah. When they took that off, they dabbed it with like a cotton bud or something like that.
Yeah.
$33 for a cotton bud. That, I'll be honest, he didn't really need...
Jesus
Christ. $23,000.
You could go to the toilet and take a piece of paper, put a little bit of surgical spirit on and whack it on there. You'll be grand.
It was ridiculous. And I mean, if that's what your economy is used to, fair play.
You do you.
Yeah, 100%. Who am I to tell you how to run a country?
But damn.
It's
shit.
And that's why they're in such a
crap situation.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
You look at Obamacare, that was brilliant. Yeah. Again, I don't know the ins and outs
of it. I think the first thing he did when he came into... like, the first thing Trump did is he said, you know what? You see that thing?
Yeah.
Let's wipe it.
Literally. And it's like...
What?
And he did that because they weren't making money off of it. Or they were making money, but not as much as they could do if they completely sacked it, which they did. And it's...
Shit.
It gets to a point where it's like, yeah, it's really, really nice that you make so much money off of that. That's wonderful. Where are your ethics, man? Your country, or not your entire country, the majority of your country has trusted you to take care of them, to lead them. Donald Trump is not a leader, but lead them.
He's a manager.
Exactly. And you've turned around and just shafted them, really, haven't you?
It's like, shafted them.
But he's done that because the majority of the people that backed him were upper class white families.
Yeah.
Who can afford to pay for that.
Yeah. Or who, as like you said, have health insurance.
Which
is still like 200
quid a month.
It
sounds, when you say it out loud, a little bit Holocausty. Don't get me wrong, Donald Trump, to this point, is not Hitler.
Yeah.
But once you get rid of a system so that the healthcare system dramatically favours upper class, not even white, just upper class families, you're then putting
the
lower class at a massive disadvantage. Because, okay, let's say you live in a not very nice neighbourhood.
Alabama. I mean, what?
We won't name any states. Let's say you live in a not very nice neighbourhood and street crime is rife and you get stabbed. You can't pay for an ambulance.
That's a big hospital bill.
You just pull that shit out and deal with it.
Cauterize it a little bit, chuck a little bit of whiskey on there, you're good.
Because you can't afford that, which means he's immediately putting the middle and lower class at a disadvantage. And again, sadly in the US, most of that middle and lower class are black families. So again, you see the riots, you see the protests, you look at it and you go, there's no need to do that. There is. Because this stems so much deeper than just what happened to George Floyd. Don't get me wrong, that was a disgrace.
It was.
That should never have happened.
It was.
But this stems so much deeper from that
you can't just...
Too damn fucking right take a stand. I would.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that with the riots, I believe that they should mainly be going for more governmental buildings.
100%.
Like, as I said, small... Like, I think I heard this... not statistic, but it was... I heard something. And it was something, okay, I can't remember.
It was there.
It was there. I saw it. But it was this shop owner got killed because he was standing in front of his shop trying to protect it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you see someone doing that, just leave them.
He's not causing any
Stop
trouble.
being a dick.
Yeah.
There's no need.
It affects... Again, it affects more than just the middle and lower class. So, an example, the thing I was looking at earlier.
Yeah.
In NBA...
Yep.
You have a thing called the CBA, the collective... Bear with me. No, because I googled this earlier.
For anyone who wants to see what happened, just go onto the YouTube channel and you'll see it on camera.
NBA, CBA. Collective Bargaining Agreement.
Right, cool.
It's called the Collective Bargaining Agreement, which is basically all of the league's owners,
yep.
Obviously the commissioner and stuff like that, and representatives from a players' union all meet at the beginning of the season and discuss the rules. Any rule changes and stuff like that. One thing that they also discuss is, obviously, in the US they have salary caps, which I think is a brilliant idea for sport, and we should have it over here because it
100%.
stops teams like Manchester City just chucking tons of oil money into it and winning everything. So anyway, they then talk about, when it comes to salaries, they talk about, right, we're going to get X, Y, and Z amount from TV, advertising, stuff like this. This is the revenue we'll be making, and then the owners and the players agree a split. X amount goes to the owners,
which is fair.
X amount goes to the players to be allowed on salaries and stuff like that. Obviously, the NBA at the minute is postponed due to the whole corona pandemic thing, understandably. But they're looking to bring it back, just for the playoffs and stuff like that, because they want to finish the season, understandably. Obviously, with everything that's going on, you know, NBA, obviously a predominantly black league.
Yep. A
good majority of the players are African American.
And they're fucking good.
They are very, very good.
Ridiculous.
Half of them are turning around and saying, no, I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back and play because of what's going on.
Yeah,
again,
which is fair enough.
Completely understandably. But at this point, the NBA owners have now turned around and went, all right, you don't want to come back and play. Obviously, there's some players that do, but they've turned around and said, right, if the majority of you don't want to come back and play, next time this collective bargaining agreement comes around, we're going to take a huge chunk out of your salaries. How many black NBA owners are there? Out of 30 teams, how many black NBA owners?
I'll probably say 1 or 2.
1.
Shit.
And do you know who that one owner is?
Who?
Michael Jordan.
Of course.
Who has...
Why did I not see that one?
...been through... the process that they've been through. And again, it wouldn't massively...
He's the great.
Exactly.
He's the great.
It wouldn't massively surprise me if in the coming days or whatever, Michael Jordan comes out and says, yeah, do you know... his team aren't involved in this because they're...
What is his team?
They're shit. The Charlotte Hornets, they're wank.
Oh, right.
His team aren't involved in this playoff bit because they're not good enough.
Yep.
So... But it wouldn't surprise me, even if they were, if Michael Jordan were to come out and say, look, if some players don't want to turn up and play, they're well within their right to. But it's like... The league that is... I mean, at least from an owner standpoint, 1 black owner out of 30...
A little bit.
They're going to turn around and say, right, you didn't come back and play. We're going to take away your right to earn this salary that obviously you've worked for since you were a kid.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to make the league when you're about 13 or 14, because you've got to be bloody good.
Yeah.
Right? You've worked for this your whole life to get into a position where you're privileged enough to make the money you make playing the sport that you have loved since you were a child.
We're going to take it away.
We're going to take that away. We're going to take away... I mean, don't get me wrong.
Cool.
Half of these guys, multi-millionaires, they don't massively need the money, but that's not...
That's not the point.
That's not the point, no. The fact is that they've worked their asses off to be in a position to earn that money.
It's, again, the moral compass of it.
Exactly. And they've turned around and gone, oh, you're not going to come and play because,
that's cute.
You're being massively discriminated against. Oh, that's fine. We're going to take a massive chunk of your salary.
I just think that... And it was like, I was talking to Megan the other day. We were speaking about the whole situation. And with the NFL... They've got this rule where if they're hiring for a coach, at least one of the candidates has to be black.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm fine with equality and diversity and all that kind of stuff. But let's say, so let me put it this way. Let's reverse the roles real quick. So let's say it was one of the people at least has to be white, the rest of them all black. So let's say there was another black person that was 10 times better than that one white guy. But he didn't get the cut because the white guy had to be included.
100%.
It's just like...
Which is...
I think when it comes to jobs, it should be the man with the talent gets the job. It shouldn't be, you know what, yeah, but we have to include everyone. It's like, no. If this guy is the best, he gets the fucking job. He 100%. Gets the interview.
You look at it, we have aspects like that in the UK. When you apply for a job, you don't have to put your gender, you don't have to put your age,
yep.
You don't have to put your race.
Most jobs, yeah.
But obviously some jobs, them, again, if you're going for a bartending job and you're 16, they probably want to know.
Yeah.
But anyway, you don't have to put your age most of the time, you don't have to put your gender at all, you don't have to put your race at all.
Yeah.
Because, again, sadly, there are still... jobs out there where they would take a man over a woman.
And I think that's really good.
Again, 100%.
Really good.
Because we're doing it right. Because it gives everyone a fair chance. I mean,
obviously, look at it and you think, okay, black male versus white female.
Oh yeah, she's got all these amazing qualifications, but she's a woman, so I don't want that.
Yeah, or it's
I want a man doing this job.
Exactly. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can still judge by a name.
100%.
Unless it's a name like Alex.
Yeah. Sam.
Yeah, Sam, Alex. Don't think Dave is one of them. Definitely Dave's not one of them.
You never know in this day and age.
But yeah, that is a really good thing because, as you said, it's not you don't make any
There's no bias.
Yeah.
There's no prejudgment. There's no bias. Everyone has the same chance. Which again, I completely agree with you. That should be a factor. It should be about what someone has done and what someone can do and what.
Exactly.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Someone has to offer.
Exactly. You break it down to their qualifications and what they can do, as opposed to. And again, I completely agree with you. Oh yeah, we've got all these amazing candidates, but we have to include
X, Y, Z.
Yeah, we have to because the league says so.
Don't get me wrong. I fully understand that. Obviously, because the NFL is an older organisation, the chairs are a little bit of age, so they will obviously be a little bit behind the times. Which means, yeah, sure, they might be a little bit discriminative.
Yeah.
In this case, that is fine. I'm more than happy to have that in there because, again, it includes everyone.
Yeah.
But when the league does catch up with the times and people aren't racist in it, I genuinely think that rule should be taken out because at the end of the day, if there is someone who is white or Hispanic or Chinese or I don't know, if they're a circle with a blue dot on them and they've got better qualifications,
very rife in today's community. Those.
Very, yeah. if they are pansexuality precedes them, then they should get the job. If they are the best, then period. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you have a dick. I don't care if you don't have one. I don't care if you've got both. Or either. Or none.
Nice.
Just...
everyone should have the same chance to get the same job. One thing I do very quickly want to point out for the podcast, you can't see this on camera, this man is wearing sliders.
I am wearing sliders, yes.
Man's wearing sliders.
But they can't see it on the camera.
No, you can't. That's why I pointed out this man has bought sliders to a podcast.
There we go. It's technically not in my house. It's within my property, so I'm just chilling my slides.
Respect is disrespectful to the
but
podcast.
Hey, I'm not gonna put on shoes just to chill out and have a chat with my mate.
Although you have got jean shorts on.
I do have jean shorts on.
Respect that. Go on, stand up. Show them the full fit.
Yeah, here we go.
Full
Just
fit.
there we go.
Nice top, jean shorts, sliders, no
do
socks.
The little 360.
No socks.
We're all good.
Yeah, you look good, bro.
No socks. No socks. We're not rocking socks.
You look good.
We're going barefoot. Barefoot.
You look good.
But yeah, I think it's just disappointing.
Yeah, in this day and age, this should not still be a problem.
Fully. And if I'm going to be honest, I think that those other 3 officers should go down for, what is it? Assisted homicide.
Assisted
homicide. Yeah, assisted homicide.
Yeah.
Or something like that, whatever it is.
Looping back to the original topic, racism is bad.
Don't do it, kids.
Don't do it.
Don't be dicks. But I think that we have hit our hour, I'm pretty sure.
You've done quite well.
I'm 90% positive. The other 10% is just chilling in the back of my mind.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so thank you for
listening
very much for listening. The first podcast of hopefully many.
Yeah, the very first episode of the Top Bunk Podcast.
Yes.
Be sure to tell them where we can find them on YouTube.
So you can find us on YouTube. I'm putting it on my channel because it's I would have to make a whole different Gmail account. I've already got about 15. It's on Alex Amoginos at YouTube. Our Instagrams are Alex Amoginos and
Bryn_Ferber. FURBER.
There we go.
Get it
or
right.
just go to our banner. Just go to our banner on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook page is Top Bunk Podcast. You can also follow Alex Amoginos on TikTok. I don't have one.
Yes, mate. Don't you?
No, I don't have one. Wow. I'm not about that. I should.
Oh,
it's very good for marketing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Do you at least have the app?
I have for my street cred, I'm going to say that. No, I don't have the
Jesus.
app.
Okay.
I do have the app. I do have it, but for
Jeez.
only to watch you. I like seeing what you post. He posts some good stuff. Go follow him.
It's good fun. It's banter.
But yeah, we will see you soon.
I'm thinking bi-weekly. Bi-weekly should
Bi-weekly?
be good. Yeah, bi-weekly. Or if we can do weekly.
Depends what happens really in the world.
I mean,
I'm sure we got topics we can talk about. Yeah, let's go weekly.
Let's do weekly.
We'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. Keep it safe and as always, kids, keep your stick on the ice.
And please don't be racists.
Yeah.